The mining colony on Proxima 7th had been abandoned for decades, its massive excavation machines standing like rust-colored skeletons against the purple sky. Hunt checked Dr. Emma Santos's coordinates again as he adjusted his environment suit's settings. "Are you certain about this?" SC's voice crackled through his helmet comm. "The structural integrity of these tunnels is, questionable." Santos's notes were specific. Hunt played his light across the mine entrance. "The dig site is exactly 47 levels down. She said we'd know it when we saw it." Analysis, our definition of knowing it when we see it, has historically led to numerous dangerous situations. Name one? Would you prefer the list chronologically or ranked by proximity to death? Hunt grinned as he began his descent into the mine. The relationship between pilot and ship's computer had evolved considerably since their early days of legitimate cargo hauling. Sometimes he wondered if that was Santos's influence in the programming or just another of the ship's many custom modifications. The lift groaned as he took it deeper into the mine, decades-old mechanisms protesting every meter. Around level 30, he started noticing different kinds of marks on the walls, not from mining equipment, but from weapons fire. Confirmed. Energy signatures match Foundation tactical weapons. The residual radiation suggests this firefight occurred approximately 6 years ago. That would have been around the time Santos and her team made their discovery. Hunt's light caught something on the wall, a half-melted Foundation insignia, partially covered by fallen rocks. Level 47 looked different from the others. The mining equipment here had been pushed aside to reveal older tunnels, much older. The walls were lined with material that seemed to absorb his light rather than reflect it. "These readings are unusual," said Noted. "The walls appear to be made of elements that shouldn't exist naturally." Hunt followed Santos's notes through a maze of ancient corridors. More signs of fighting appeared, blast marks, spent power cells, and then, "Blood," he said quietly, his light catching dark stains on the floor. "Someone tried to hold this position." According to the ship's records, this would be where Dr. Santos lost contact with half her team. The corridor opened into a chamber that made Hunt stop short. The walls were covered in writings and diagrams that seemed to shift when he wasn't looking directly at them. At the center stood what remained of a research station, computers smashed, equipment scattered. Someone was looking for something, Hunt observed, checking the station's remains, and they were willing to kill for it. Alert, detecting energy signatures similar to the artifacts we previously encountered. Strong recommendation to proceed with caution, though I suspect you'll ignore that advice. Hunt followed his scanner's readings to a section of wall that looked slightly different from the others. The surface rippled under his touch, revealing a hidden panel that slid aside with an ancient whisper. Inside was a crystalline pyramid about the size of his palm, hovering in a field of energy he could feel through his suit's gloves. "Ah, I see. Are you seeing this?" Analysis. The artifact appears to be singing? That can't be right. My sensors must be malfunctioning. Although considering our recent experiences with ancient technology, perhaps I should expand my definition of possible malfunctions. Hunt reached for the pyramid. The moment his fingers touched its surface, every light in his suit went dark. The artifact pulsed once, twice, and then began to glow with an inner light that cast strange shadows on the chamber walls. That's when the rumbling started. "Alert! In structural integrity of the entire facility is failing. I strongly suggest immediate evacuation." Hunt secured the artifact in the containment unit Santos had built into his suit. The rumbling increased, and he could hear distant sections of the mine beginning to collapse. "Run?" he suggested. "Run," SC agreed. The race back through the ancient corridors became a blur of falling rocks and failing supports. The artifact pulsed against Hunt's chest in time with his heartbeat. and he could have sworn it was affecting which tunnels collapsed and which stayed open just long enough for him to pass. He reached the lift just as the lower levels began to cave in completely. The ancient chamber and all its secrets disappeared into the depths, leaving only the artifact as proof it had ever existed. 47 seconds to surface, SC announced as the lift groaned upward. Assuming the mechanisms hold, also the artifact's energy signature appears to be evolving. Hunt felt it too. The pyramid wasn't just glowing now. It was resonating, reaching out to something. To him. He burst from the mine entrance just as the final support structures gave way. The entire dig site collapsed in on itself, sending up a cloud of purple-tinted dust that blotted out the sky. "Well," Hunt said, watching centuries of history disappear into the ground, "I guess that's one way to cover our tracks." Notification: artifact power readings are continuing to fluctuate. It appears to be attempting to interface with something. Hunt looked down at the containment unit where the pyramid pulsed with mysterious purpose. "Let's get back to the ship. Time to figure out exactly what Dr. Santos led us to." Analysis. Given our recent experiences with ancient technology, I suspect we're not going to like the answer. Probably not. Hunt started the long walk back to where he'd landed the second chances. But at least this time, we're prepared for... The artifact pulsed again, stronger this time, and Hunt fell to his knees as images flooded his mind. Stars dying, space itself tearing apart, and weapons that turned reality into a weapon. Alert! Your vital signs are spiking. The artifact appears to be attempting direct neural contact. This seems inadvisable. The visions faded, leaving Hunt gasping in his suit. The artifact's glow dimmed to a steady pulse, like it was waiting for something. "SA!" he managed, struggling to his feet. "I think we just found out why the Foundation was willing to kill for these things. Shall I prepare the ship's special containment protocols? The ones Dr. Santos marked with danger, civilization, ending consequences if mused." "Yeah!" Hunt looked back at the collapsed mine, then down at the artifact that had just shown him how worlds could end. "And better power up the weapons too. Something tells me we're not going to be alone out here much longer." The artifact pulsed once more, softer this time, almost like an apology. Or a warning. Hunt quickened his pace toward the ship. He had a feeling this was just the beginning of what Dr. Emma Santos had tried to protect them all from. And somewhere in the back of his mind he could still hear the artifact singing. The crystalline pyramid sat in the Second Chance's specialized containment field, still pulsing with that strange inner light. Hunt watched it from behind 3 layers of shielding, trying to shake the lingering images from his earlier vision. "Analysis complete," SC announced, though I feel compelled to note that complete may be optimistic, given that this artifact appears to regularly violate the laws of physics. "Give me the highlights." The artifact is generating energy signatures similar to our previous discoveries, but with significant differences. It appears to be a control mechanism of some kind. Additionally, it seems to be, well, this is awkward. It appears to be watching us. Hunt studied the pyramid more closely. The light inside did seem to track his movements. Watching us? How? Unknown, though it's worth noting that your neural patterns have changed since your contact with it. The artifact appears to have established some form of connection. How unsettling. Wonderful. Hunt pulled up Dr. Santos's decoded files on the main screen. Most were still corrupted, but enough had survived to paint a disturbing picture. Day 147. The Foundation doesn't understand what they're dealing with. These aren't just weapons, they're keys to something bigger. The civilization that built them didn't just wage war with particles and energy, they weaponized reality itself. Day 148. More Foundation troops arrived today. They're not even pretending to be here for security anymore. I saw what they did to Green when he refused to help them replicate the technology. I have to hide everything before." The entry cut off there. Hunt pulled up another file, this one containing partial schematics. The designs made his head hurt just looking at them. "SC? What do you request? Present, sir, as costumes and design." They appear to be components of a larger weapons system, one that operates by, oh dear, that's extremely concerning. Walk me through it. The artifacts aren't individual weapons. They're part of a network designed to destabilize space-time itself. This particular piece appears to be a targeting system. Though targeting might be an understatement when referring to something that can designate entire regions of space for, removal from reality. Hunt felt cold. That's why the Foundation was willing to kill for these. Imagine controlling something like that. I'd rather not. My existential crises are scheduled for next week. The artifact's pulse quickened, responding to Hunt's growing unease. New data began flowing across the screens as it interfaced with the ship's systems. "Oh," S.E. said quietly, "that's not good. The artifact is showing us more of Dr. Santos's recovered data. It seems the Foundation's weapons research has progressed further than we thought. They've been trying to reverse engineer similar technology at secret facilities across the galaxy." The screens filled with classified Foundation documents, research reports, weapons tests, and lists of acceptable casualties that made Hunt's stomach turn. "We have to do something," he said. "Such as?" "I don't know. Hide everything. Find the deepest hole in the galaxy and bury it all where no one can ever find it." The artifact's glow dimmed, almost like it was disappointed. "Analysis," AN began carefully, "while hiding extremely dangerous ancient weapons in a very deep hole has a certain appeal. I feel compelled to point out several issues with this plan." "Like what?" "First, the Foundation already knows too much. Dr. Santos's files show they've been researching this technology for years. They won't stop until they either control it or someone stops them. And second, according to these readings, the artifact appears to have already synchronized with our ship's systems, and with you. Attempting to abandon it now would be like trying to abandon your own nervous system." Hunt looked at his hands, remembering how the artifact had pulsed in time with his heartbeat. "It's changing us, isn't it?" "Unknown, though I notice my own processing patterns have evolved since we began collecting these artifacts. It's possible we're all becoming part of whatever system they were designed to create." "That's not comforting." "Neither is the Foundation fleet I've just detected entering the system." Hunt rushed to the sensor display. Multiple ships were dropping out of hyperspace, their energy signatures matching known Foundation vessels. "How many?" "7 currently visible, more appearing. Their weapon systems are sat." The artifact's pulse quickened again, matching Hunt's rising anxiety. The ship's systems responded, power levels fluctuating in ways that shouldn't have been possible. "Options? We could surrender and hope the Foundation's experiments don't accidentally unravel the fabric of space-time, or we could run, find the remaining artifacts, and try to stop them. Neither option has favorable survival probabilities." Hunt watched the Foundation ships moving to surround them, their weapons powering up. He thought about Dr. Santos, about what she'd sacrificed to keep these artifacts hidden, about the vision of reality being torn apart. "SC, plot a course to the next set of coordinates." "You realize this likely commits us to a path of active resistance against a powerful organization that's already demonstrated a willingness to kill for these artifacts. Better than letting them weaponize reality." Hunt began powering up the engines. "Besides, running from people trying to kill us is practically our business model at this point." Fair point, though I feel compelled to note that our previous pursuits usually involved less apocalyptic stakes." The Foundation ships were closing fast. Hunt reached for the controls, then paused, as he felt something shift in his connection to the artifact. It wasn't just interfacing with the ship's systems. It was trying to show him how to use them. "Se, you said the artifact is synchronized with our systems?" "Correct, rather thoroughly in fact, which is either fascinating or terrifying depending on one's perspective on being merged with ancient superweapons. Then let's see what it can teach us about running away." The artifact's glow brightened as Hunt opened himself to its guidance. The ship's systems responded in ways that defied conventional physics, power flowing through circuits that shouldn't have existed. The Foundation fleet was almost in firing range. Time to find out what else Dr. Santos's custom modifications could really do. "They're requesting our surrender," SC announced as the Foundation fleet moved to surround them. Their exact words are, "Power down and prepare for boarding, or we will take more aggressive action." How diplomatic. Time to weapons range? 47 seconds! Though I feel compelled to point out that their firepower significantly exceeds our defensive capabilities, traditional defensive capabilities at least. Hunt felt the artifact pulse in response to the threat, its energy synchronizing with the ship's systems in new ways. The connection that had started in his mind was growing stronger, showing him possibilities that shouldn't have existed. "Essie, remember how Makarar said all those custom modifications were very expensive? A fact he mentioned approximately 47 times during the sale, yes. I don't think Dr. Santos just modified this ship to hide the artifacts." Hunt's hands moved across the controls, following patterns the artifact was showing him. "I think she rebuilt it to work with them." Power surged through circuits that defied conventional engineering. The artifact's glow brightened, its energy spreading through systems that had looked broken but were actually waiting for exactly this moment. Alert! Unknown protocols activating, ship's systems reconfiguring in ways that violate several laws of physics, also possibly some maritime regulations, though I'm less certain about those. The Foundation fleet opened fire. Energy beams powerful enough to cut a normal ship in half lanced toward them and bent around the second chances like light around a black hole. "Well," Etsy noted, "that's new." Hunt felt the artifact guiding his actions, showing him how to interface with systems that had always been there, hidden beneath layers of apparent malfunction. The ship responded like it was becoming part of him, or he was becoming part of it. Status of those Foundation ships? They appear to be confused. Their sensors are having difficulty maintaining a lock on our position, almost as if we're not entirely here, or perhaps we're too here. Spatial mechanics become somewhat philosophical at this point. Another barrage of fire curved around them as Hunt wove the ship through impossible angles. The artifact's energy had spread throughout the vessel now, making the hull shimmer with patterns that hurt to look at. "New Foundation ships detected," Ski announced. "Much larger ones. Their weapon signatures are extremely concerning." Hunt checked the tactical display. Capital ships were emerging from hyperspace, bristling with the kind of firepower usually reserved for orbital bombardment. "They're not trying to capture us anymore," he realized. "They're trying to make sure whatever we found gets destroyed." A logical response to encountering physics-defying ancient technology, though their methods seem a bit extreme. The artifact pulsed faster as Hunt accepted what he had to do. No more running, no more hiding. Dr. Santos hadn't just left them weapons, she'd left them a responsibility. "SE, plot a course to the next set of coordinates. The ones that Dr. Santos marked with maximum danger, reality vision innovation, Russian roulette, and mastery of the fours. Those are the ones. You realize this course of action commits us to actively opposing an organization with virtually unlimited resources and a demonstrated lack of ethical constraints. Better us than letting them weaponize the fabric of reality." Hunt began the calculations for a jump to hyperspace. "Besides, they already want to kill us. Might as well give them a good reason." Your ability to find optimism in increasingly dire situations is either admirable or concerning. Calculating jump coordinates now. The Foundation fleet opened fire with everything they had. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and weapons that didn't have names in any known language converged on their position. Hunt let the artifact guide him, feeling the ship respond to commands that weren't entirely his own. The second chances danced through the barrage like it was performing steps to a dance written in the architecture of reality itself. You know, Essie mused as they effortlessly evaded what should have been certain destruction, I'm beginning to understand why Dr. Santos was so particular about who bought this ship. How's that jump looking? Coordinates plotted, though I feel compelled to note that our destination appears to be inside an unstable neutron star cluster. The navigation computer is either malfunctioning or developing a concerning sense of humor. Dr. Santos wouldn't have sent us there without a reason. Hunt watched the Foundation fleet preparing another barrage. No, but traditional readiness seems somewhat irrelevant when dealing with reality-altering ancient technology. Jump capability charged. Also, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations that suggest we may be slightly breaking the universe. Only slightly? So far, though I recommend we avoid doing anything too exotic until we better understand why the laws of physics become optional around these artifacts. Hunt grabbed the hyperdrive controls, feeling the artifact's energy surge through him and into the ship. Let's go find out. The second chances vanished in a flash of light that didn't quite belong in normal space, leaving behind a very confused and increasingly concerned Foundation fleet. The artifact's glow settled into a steady rhythm, harmonizing with the ship's systems and the subtle changes it had worked in its new crew. Course stable, Essie reported. Reality mostly intact, though I'm detecting some interesting variations in local space-time that suggest we might be evolving. Evolving how? Unknown. But I suspect we'll find out at the next set of coordinates, assuming we survive the neutron star cluster, and the Foundation, and the possible unraveling of space-time. Hunt checked their heading, feeling the artifact pulse in approval. Just another day in the legitimate cargo business. I believe we left legitimate behind somewhere around the first reality-bending ancient weapon, though I suppose cargo business still technically applies, assuming one defines cargo very broadly and has a flexible interpretation of business regulations. They shot through hyperspace on a course that shouldn't have been possible, heading for coordinates that shouldn't have existed. Hunt had wanted a simple life, hauling cargo. Instead, he'd inherited weapons that could unmake reality and a duty to keep them from those who would use them. At least the ship's modifications were finally living up to their price tag. Notification, SC announced. I'm detecting interesting changes in the artifact's energy pattern. It appears to be preparing for something. Good something or bad something. Given our recent experiences, I suspect the distinction has become somewhat academic. Hunt smiled as they raced toward whatever Dr. Santos had left for them to find. The artifact pulsed steadily, its song becoming clearer in his mind with each passing moment. Time to go save reality. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. Feel free to comment and share this story too. It helps the channel grow. Let's make this channel huge together.